Welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of Enter the Mind podcast, the most real talk, no nonsense podcast on the empowering of the mind. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing the restless leader. In other words, the importance of getting rest when you are a leader and when you're handling a lot. So, Kyra, I think this was inspired because you know somebody who has not been resting and now that person has a cold. And we've all seen this. We've observed it. People get into some sort of rhythm and momentum, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to do this and that, right? And I've been there myself as well. But what happens is that you reach a point, I think, where you start to go over this productivity, what would you call it, an apex or some sort of like maximum, and then you're actually starting to go downhill in terms of your productivity because you're drained. Have you observed that?
Yes and no. So, yes, I have, if I'm tired, my work isn't as good. My mood isn't as good. Uh, my attitude isn't as good. Why? Because I'm tired. I want to fucking sleep. And I feel like leaders have so much pressure put on them to go, 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 go. And you're not a good leader if you don't go, 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 go and deny yourself the rest. And it's like, when I listen to that, I'm like, y'all need some rest. Y'all really need some rest. And I feel like one of the other main points on why they don't get rest, right? Like, I'm a great leader. I've been a leader my entire life, and I refuse. I've done the whole don't get me rest thing. I did it for like 8 months or like a year of my life, and I can tell you it was not fun. My work was not productive. My mind was not clear. And I feel like you may think that it's working for you, but it's like, in reality, you need some rest. When are you going to give yourself permission to rest? When you hit $1 million? No, because when you hit $1 million, you're going to want to do even more production. So it's like, I'll end it with this, but I read in a book one time, and it's stuck with me ever since. And it's, you could be spending your entire life building a ladder up to a mountain, only to find out that that's the wrong mountain, and it's actually a few feet over. And now you got to build a different ladder to get up to that mountain. And it was a lot more impactful than that, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, and what a pity it would be if you drained yourself and sacrificed yourself so much. You're like, oh, this ladder, it'll be worth it when I get to the top. I know I've missed out on sleep, but this is going to be worth it. Then you get to the top and you realize it was the wrong mountain. So,
It's
yeah,
yeah, it's not a pretty sight. it's
right.
not it's not going to be a pretty sight.
I think the key word is sustainability. That always interested me, and I'm borrowing that from environmentalism. Usually, you hear that from people talking about the environment and going green and saving paper, and we can't use up the Earth's resources. What's a sustainable source of energy? Well, apply that to ourselves and psychology and our own mental energy. What's a sustainable system where we're not running ourselves into the ground? The problem with a lot of like when people get really gung-ho with their work ethic and stuff is it's not sustainable. So they have this childish spurt of a week, and then it fizzles out because they can't sustain it over time.
Now, I definitely agree it's not sustainable. When I think of Grant Cardone or Tony Robbins, or some of like the other big people, like maybe like Esther Hicks and things like that. You know, I'm pretty sure that Grant's oldest child, I think, is like 14 or like 13 or something like that. And so, Grant's been at this for a while, right? So it's like he didn't have kids until a certain point, and I feel like when he did have his kids, sure, he sacrificed, but I feel like some people are taking everyone's message like a little bit too hard, and it's like, no wonder you're not having good sex. Like, no wonder you don't talk to yourself. No wonder you don't talk to yourself kindly when you're alone. It's because you don't really like yourself. You know, you're giving your life over to the wrong beliefs of somebody else, to the misheard beliefs and direction of somebody else. I'm pretty sure that Elena Cardone is, great with relationships, and she talks about like how to 10x your relationship, right? And like Grant is always talking about like spending time with your children, right? So it's like, I get it, like you guys are working to get to that point, but how long is it going to take you to get to that point? A, and B, are you going to be fucking dead by then? Like, obviously you're not, but like, you know what I mean? Like, get some fucking rest a little bit, balance your life. Why do you have to feel so bad about going for a day of kayaking? What thoughts are going on inside your mind that is making you so goddamn uncomfortable with that you can't even enjoy your youth and enjoy your life? You know? Like, you are still going to get to the top. You are. But you need some rest.
With that example of Grant and his kids, are you saying that Grant's not taking enough time to rest?
I feel like he is now. Like, I feel like he's definitely pushing everybody, and like he definitely gets up at like 5 a.m. and like goes and does, what he needs to do and everything. But I feel like he's not necessarily so tired, I guess, like everybody else. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to really explain it, because like one day, we'll all be in Grant's position where we do, I mean, the ones who actually follow through with their businesses, but like pretty much like you don't see Grant acting the way that some of his followers act. And it's like you guys like are taking the message all wrong.
How do they
Like,
act?
all wrong. They don't, number one, they don't give themselves any type of rest. Like, any type of rest. Like, maybe I don't know Grant Cardone like that. All I'm saying is I'm pretty sure that if he had a cold, that he would give himself, at least one day of rest, or at least like 8 full hours of rest, or at least like let himself fucking rest throughout the day, because his health is important to him. 10x health. Like, what is the message that like people aren't getting here? Like, take care of your health, take care of your wife, take care of your children, and take care of your business all in the same time. You need to balance them. He's not saying throw away everything else and fucking work on your business 24/7 until you get colds and you got fucking bronchitis. Your sex life sucks and your fucking wife is upset. Like, that's not what he's saying. And I feel like most of you guys are going for that.
There's something that really was generating some ideas here, in which was Grant's energy level. So I did an experiment on Monday, which
Okay.
was throughout the day, any activity that I was doing, I told myself, I'm doing this and it's no big deal. Like if I was driving to work, I'm saying, I'm driving my car right now and it's no big deal. As I'm walking into the office, I'm walking into the office right now and it's no big deal. As I'm answering emails, I'm reading my emails and it's no big deal. And the effect that this experiment had on me was that a lot of tension disappeared. I was no longer going through my activities with that invisible extra amount of tension that we usually carry with us. And by the end of the day, I had all of this energy. And I thought to myself, is my experiment the reason why I have all of this energy? Is it because I dropped all that unnecessary tension? And when I'm around big shots, do I notice that they kind of do treat things like it's no big deal? Like I'll go to them and say, "Oh my gosh, I just uploaded a video and it didn't get any views or something." They're like, "Oh yeah, whatever. Post another one, right? It's
I
no big
know.
deal. It's no big
I
deal."
love that.
But I wonder if that's what's going on with Grant and his followers. When you're saying that you see his followers, they're not doing it the right way. They're exhausting themselves. I think it's a source of inflated energy. I think Grant is uninflated, and I think they have a lot of inflated energy going on.
I like I like that thing about like it's no big deal. Because I definitely see a lot of people who are successful doing that. Especially coming from me. I put like so much fucking emphasis on like everything. So that was nice to have conversations like that to, take off the weight and like, oh, it's no big deal. Like just keep pushing forward. And that's something that comes into my mind more and more every day. But when it comes to the inflated energy, I feel like, can you explain it in a little more context?
Yeah. So again, it comes back to the reality transurfing in Vadim Zeland's book and this concept of when you're going for your goals, go for the goals like you're walking to the mailbox and
Yeah.
getting the mail out
Okay,
of your
yeah.
mailbox. So it's not inflated, right? Well, these people that are following Grant Cardone, I don't know who exactly you're talking about, but we could speak generally and say like anybody who's following a guru or anyone who's trying to become successful, the before they are successful, as they're climbing that mountain, so to speak, I think a common pitfall is allowing your energy to become inflated. And what that means is attributing excess meaning or importance to certain things. So you get a rude email from someone and it ruins your day. You're attributing too much importance to something that doesn't deserve the importance. And so people going after their goals, after they're like, well, if I want to be a millionaire, I gotta work until 11 o'clock at night, and then I gotta wake up at 5 a.m. and this and that, and they have this inflated, inaccurate sort of image of how things are going, and they're like, oh, I didn't stay up to 11 last night, so I'm slacking, and oh no, and this, and it's just that's not the way that people think when they're thinking clean.
I like the idea of thinking clean. That's the best. And when it comes to like a bad email, I don't think that's something that like successful people do. Because it's a bad email. Who
What do
gives
you
a
mean? Right. That
like
you're
nobody,
saying the successful people shrug it off, right? They're like,
yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they
I
definitely
agree
do.
with that. Yeah. That's what I was saying.
I I feel like when it's more of like the balance in their lives, and like I'm talking to you guys here, I'm talking to you. Like it's about, the balance in your life. And sure, maybe you don't have to take advice from somebody who doesn't have $1 million in their bank account yet, right? But I can assure you that I have thought about my road so many times, and y'all know me. I have lost my soul. I have lost my soul before. I have felt it being dragged to hell. I had to get on my hands and knees and beg for God to save me. Beg. In that moment, I had to repent. I had to scream at the top of my lungs and repent. Why? Because when you guys think about your soul, and you think about your business, and you think about your mission, and you think about why you're here on earth, if you're only here on earth for business, good. Go, go you. Go you. But I can guarantee that you are going to lose your soul, and there will be a day that you are on your hands and knees begging for your soul to come back. Why? Because the loss of a soul, it's not selling your fucking soul to the devil. I mean, it is in a sense, but it's not in the way that you think it is. So like losing your soul is losing your life. It's giving up what's important to you and what really means something to you deep down. So like sure, you can not rest. You know, you can be drained to the fucking bone. You can, become so successful. But what happens in life 80 years down the line when you're sitting there with your pile of money, your successful ass business, but you don't have any other area to show for it? Like, really? Like, your business is the top most successful thing in your life. Maybe you're fucking obese. Maybe you don't have the best body. Maybe you don't have the best health. Maybe you and your wife don't get along that well. Maybe you and your kids don't get along that well. You need to make sure, like, you are not just planning for today, you are planning for the rest of your life. Every decision that you make today is leading up to a whole life, or it's leading up to a life with some holes in it. And when that day comes and all of the decisions that you've made today, you can't take them back. You can't. You can't change the past. You can't get those years back with your kids. You can't get, oh God, it's making me tear up, but you can't get, those years back when you're young, when in your youth and your child's youth, you can never get those years back. So, you may not be taking it from somebody who's got $1 million in their bank account yet, but you can take it from somebody who's lost their soul before. And it's really important.
Yeah, I can second that message. I think it's really important to remember who we are and not get lost while we pursue some sort of destination or end.
So it's like, yeah, take a fucking day of rest. Take a fucking day of rest.
So, what would be a good step for people to incorporate to fix this problem is establishing one day a week where they don't work or they pay attention to other things in their life.
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe not once a week, because, like, I get it. Like, I don't even give myself that type of rest sometimes once a week, but, like, sometimes I'll let myself sleep in an hour later. Sometimes I'll let myself show up to my podcast in my jammies with some fluffy socks on. Sometimes I'll allow myself to skip Pilates. It doesn't mean that I'm failing. It means that I'm following the flow of my life. And yeah, like, you can follow the flow of your life. So like, if you want to take a nap, but you feel like you're not too tired, then don't take a nap. Keep pushing, right? Maybe there's something waiting for you on the other side of that door, right? But if you like are genuinely like ring it up, like somebody's ringing your metaphorical phone and they're like, take a fucking nap, take a fucking nap, take a 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 nap. And you're like, no, bitch, fuck you. Guess what? What you're seeking is on the other side of that nap. It's not everything that you're seeking is on the other side of like business and pushing yourself to, the ground. Sometimes it's on the other side of that nap. Sometimes it's on the other side of that rest. Next thing you know, you have a clear ass mind. Next thing you know, you get $1 million fucking client. That's how it goes. And you just need to remember to follow the flow of your life.
Definitely. There's a book that I would recommend called The Power of Full Engagement.
Hmm.
And when I read that, it kind of changed my perspective, and it helped me realize it was basically meant for like executives who are experiencing burnout, I
Mm.
believe. And it was a really good lesson in the fact that we produce more when we get the adequate rest, when we're fully engaged. If you're not rested, you can't be fully engaged. And of course, that's a slightly different angle, right? Because here I'm focusing on, well, hey, what are you producing? You're going to produce less if you don't rest. Whereas I think you're taking the angle of you're going to lose your soul if you don't rest and balance out the other areas of your life. And that your angle, I would argue, is carries more weight in the sense spiritually, right? Because
It does.
like
It's your
like
soul.
you said, you can't get those years back. And whereas my angle, it's kind of I'm still focused on the numbers and the production and that sort of a thing. It's almost like I'm still in the same paradigm of the, the work paradigm. But in any case, we're at 25 minutes, so let's do a quick power question of the day. Let me pass it to you. Did you have a power question to put forth?
Um, if anything, if I could make up, a power question, I would genuinely want to ask you, do you know who your soul is? Do you know yourself? Do you feel your soul inside of you? Or is it not there? And be honest with yourself, because like I said, one day you'll be on your hands and knees begging for it back. And by then, I'm not going to say it's going to be too late. It's never, ever, ever too late. But by then, you will be very far deep. Your soul will be so lost that it's going to take longer to find it.
Yeah, wow, that's really strong, really powerful. I think that hits hard. I guess I would just echo that one. That one was a pretty hard hitter question, right? So ditto, and it's about keeping in touch with your soul, right?
Yeah, like making sure that your soul is here. Um, and you will answer yourself. You will 100% answer yourself. You can ask it in different ways until you get like different answers, but like yeah, like do I know who I am? Do I really know who I am as a soul? Do I really know who I am? Um, when it comes to like a soul, do I know if I'm an alien? Do I know if I'm God's child? Do I know if I have past lives? Do I know, if I'm from a different planet? Do you know any of these things about yourself, or are you so focused on your human body that none of this shit is important to you? Because guess what? Guess what? If you don't find your soul in this lifetime, you're going to come back and you're going to do it all again. And it's possible to keep making the same mistakes. You need to not think about your life today and this only one lifetime in this human vessel. You need to think about like your soul's life, like where you're going after this lifetime on earth. What level your soul will be at when you come back, or when you go back to another planet. Like you came down here for a mission, and I'm pretty sure that that mission isn't to lose your soul.
Yeah, great message. So I think a lot to think about. If you all have comments, questions, please type that in the comments section below. And you're welcome to reach out to us for any other issues that you're facing as a leader, issues that you would like us to discuss. So thank you all for watching and listening. We'll see you next week.